Welcome to Blog Talk Radio in high fidelity. People tell me every day love is gonna come my way, searching for clues that I hope to find. Want something that's gonna match, wanna live and forget the past. I know this change is gonna do me good. I know this change is gonna do me good. Even though it hurts me now, I know this change will do me good. You gotta prove it, hold back down, give me a die. When there's something you come, take a dream, you know you should. I know this change is gonna do me good. I know this change is gonna do me good. Even though it hurts me now, I know this change will do me good. Give me changes and it's no way. I'm feeling better, I believe me. I'm gonna run back and all the men someday. I'm gonna I'm not I know it's a even though I can't say that. I know this change is doing good.
Aloha. Good evening. This is Andrew Aloha live out of Flagstaff, Arizona, with Spiritual Image Productions on Blog Talk Radio and FreeConferencing.com and Ustream, establishing and maintaining right relationships through human values. Aloha and welcome to tonight's Intimacy, Tantra, Relationship, Psychically Fulfilled show. Tonight we're doing, we're here with Lorae, Maha Dakini Lorae.
Yeah, it's fun.
Right now she's in New York. Aloha, Lorae.
Aloha, Andrew.
Yeah, it's one of those days, I can tell. So anyhow, just to let you know, time out. I'm getting caught up with everything. And, today, I don't know, a few days ago, I was in Tucson, and I was driving back, and they'll go, yeah, we're going to have record highs of 114 degrees today. And the last time we had a record high this high, they were 112. Maha Dakini Lorae, I'm going to tell you, on the way back from Tucson, it got up to 122 degrees, and that was while I was driving. I couldn't believe it. It was,
wow.
It was just astronomical. So anyhow, just let you guys know, Intimacy, Tantra, and Relationship Psychically Fulfilled with Andrew Aloha and Maha Dakini Lorae is an online Tantra session that's filled with spice, nice, and everything, right? Aloha will be joined by Tantrica Maha Dakini Lorae out of San Francisco, Sacred Sexuality Educator, Certified Tantra Counselor, and Tantra Healer. Maha Dakini Lorae and Andrew Aloha will be discussing relationships pertaining to couples, partners, lovers, and significant others from a tantric and psychic point of view. It should be an incredibly interesting show filled with relationships, spirituality, sensuality, intimacy, healing, and more. Join us today. And I'm, of course, I'm going through my bout with my sinuses. So anyhow, tonight we're going to be talking about celibacy, abstinence, monogamy, polyamory, and or swinger. Which do you choose? So, and we're going to talk about all that. In the meantime, and by the way, well, in the meantime, we're going to give a big aloha to all of our underwriters that help make this show happen from week to week, month to month, year to year, beginning with Maha Dakini Lorae at www.mahadakini.com. Maha Dakini Lorae's life has been a personal journey exploring sexuality and spirituality for over 20 years. She's a certified tantric counselor and tantric healer and a certified mind sound teacher. Maha Dakini Lorae is also a graduate of Mogonom's year-long Skydance and Tantra Facilitator Training Program, as well as a current member of the Association of Sex Educators, Counselor and Therapists Club, and a charter member of the Association of Sexual Energy Professionals. She regularly attends trainings and conferences to keep current with the latest research and information on sexual education. Again, I apologize. My sinuses are going nuts, but that's exactly what. Anyhow, we also have the 90-Day Ascension Journey at www.90dayascensionjourney.com. When you sign up for the 90-Day Ascension Journey, you will be facilitated with defining and redefining your soul true life purpose. You will be assisted with finding out what ascension means to you. On this journey, you will be provided with tools, techniques, and assistance to empower you to connect and reconnect with yourself and your emotions and feelings in your mind, body, and spirit. Through the universal soul center process, you will be going through a lifelong transformation that will allow you to move forward with your endeavors and never look back if you dare. First of all, there's a couple of things. Last year, I wrote the supplement to this book, to this journey. I wrote the book for it to supplement the journeys that I've been doing with people. And right now, if you go to spiritualimageproductions.com, or the 90dayascensionjourney.com, on the left-hand side of the spiritualimageproductions.com, there's a link that says 90-Day Ascension Journey. If you click on that, that will take you to the page for the 90-Day Ascension Journey website, and there you can sign up and get a free copy of this book. So if you're interested in you want to learn more about that, just go there, sign up for the book, and then you will be able to access it there if you want. Excuse me, and if you want, again, if you're interested in doing that. So we also have the 2017 MUFON Symposium at www.mufonsymposium.com. MUFON is the oldest and largest civilian UFO investigative organization in the United States. It has been dedicated to finding the truth about UFOs through its mission of investigation, research, and education. This year, there are a number of speakers presenting at the MUFON Symposium to be held in Las Vegas, Nevada from the 21st to the 23rd of next month, including Dr. James Woodward, Michael Schrott, Dr. Michael Sala, and Debbie Ziegelmeyer. Dan Harzan, director of MUFON, invites you to attend the MUFON Symposium in Las Vegas, again in Nevada, from the 21st to the 23rd of next month, and actively participate in the case for a secret space program. Then make up your own mind if it is real or not. Right? So tonight, somehow we got on the subject of talking about swingers and polyamory, and I said, let's just go ahead and do a show on that. Why not? I think that's a show in and of itself. So then I elaborated upon that, and people out there, and and we're not just talking about teenagers, we're talking about adults, don't really know the differences amongst all these, amongst celibacy, abstinence, monogamy, polyamory, and swinger. So I thought, why don't we just define these? So I went to the Wikipedia, and I pulled all those up, and again, this is going to be hard because my scientists are going crazy, but I said, why don't we define them first, and then we'll go into it. So we're going to start out with celibacy. Celibacy, and celibacy is the state of voluntary being unmarried, sexually abstinent, or both, usually for religious reasons. It is often in association with the role of a religious official or devotee. In its narrow sense, the term celibacy is applied only to those for whom the unmarried state is the result of a sacred vow, act of renunciation, or religious conviction in a wider sense. It is commonly understood to only mean abstinence from sexual activity. Celibacy has existed in one other form or another throughout history. In virtually all the major religions of the world, the views of it have varied. Ancient Judaism was strongly opposed to celibacy. Similarly, the Romans viewed it as an aberration and legislated fiscal penalties against it. Yeah, with the sole exception granted to the Vestal Virgin. You know, I'm not even going to go any further because this is a bunch of BS. Celibacy, to me, in my mind, is the abstinence. It's much more than just abstinence. Celibacy, to me, is having no sex at all. I mean, not masturbating, not oral sex, not physical, not penetration, no sex at all. Period. That's what celibacy is, and I can't believe that this Wikipedia isn't even defining that. Isn't even saying that, which is a bunch of BS. It's bull. And to me, that's what celibacy is. So I don't know. What do you think about that, Maha Dakini Lorae?
Well, my thought is that there's different perspectives and different definitions, and I just pulled it up and just from the dictionary, and it talks about abstention from sexual relations.
And again, that's correct, but it's more than that. It's more than abstinence. Huh?
Now, however, like I said, it depends. I know. So so let's kind of look at this. I was brought up Catholic. I don't know if you were too, but the priest was supposed to be celibate and the nun. However, they're abstaining from sexual relations, but that doesn't mean that they're abstaining from what you were talking about, self-pleasuring, touching oneself. And so in the Catholic religion, there's been a lot of sexual abuse because how do I explain it? The energy wasn't able to be, the sexual energy wasn't able to be expressed effectively, so it came out in these weird ways, which would be to molest and violate parishioners or children, little boys or little girls. There was one video that I was watching of a Tibetan monk, and he said they're celibate. However, they don't deny the sexual energy. They understand when they go into meditation, there's a specific meditation of how they transmute that sexual urge. And they have a meditation where the God and goddess, the deities are above them, and they are then having a sacred spiritual union with the God and goddess, so that energy isn't transformed in a physical way and expressed in a physical way. It's transformed into something that will exalt them into a higher state of consciousness. So that's the distinction between when you're celibate and you learn how to transmute the energy, as opposed to celibate and you don't know how to deal with it and you don't know how to manage it.
Exactly.
I don't know if that's
and no, I hear what you're saying.
What you're talking about.
What I understand is going on, and I hear exactly what you're saying, is that to me, with celibacy, you're no longer channeling the energies through your sexual organs. You're channeling the energies through your higher level organs like your heart and so forth, your lungs and so forth. So that's why I think a lot of people should do Hatha yoga, because it allows them to channel the energies a lot healthier, in a better way than through their sexual organs. A lot of people use their sexual organs to abuse other people, but also they abuse themselves. So to me, that's not from
What do you mean by abusing themselves and other people? So there's some that's abusing is masturbating. So
even in masturbation, they'll take their organs and they'll punch them, or they'll scratch them, or cut them, or something stupid that will abuse their organs and abuse their sexual energies. And that's not what the purpose of sexuality is, in a sense of speaking, in the higher realms. The purpose of sexuality or sex is to produce how do you say? I can't remember how you say. Procreate. Yes, that's the bottom line of what sex is all about. Is in the higher realms, is for the purpose of procreation, whether it be co-creating kids, other people, co-creating and manifesting buildings or projects or ventures that are meant to be healthy for people. There's all kinds of versions of co-creation, but that's what, to me, celibacy is is not only abstaining from sexual relations with other people, but also from oneself as well. And like when I did the tour with Amachi, the hugging saint, she would tell people, to abstain from having sex with everyone and with yourself, in a sense of speaking. And so, and even in Tantra, and I believe you understand.
For how long?
Well, that's undetermined. That's undetermined. Till you get ready to co-create, and whatever that means, and whenever that means. So that's undetermined. So and so the reasoning for celibacy is to charge. It's like a battery. You charge your battery,
right.
and once it's full, then you discharge it. Duh, there's an orgasm. Okay, fine. Why not? So, but and that could be different for people, various people. And again, celibacy includes abstaining from oral sex. Oral sex. People think, I used to have a girlfriend that goes, yeah, blowjobs are not considered sex. What? What are you talking about? Are you funny? You're still mixing juices with each other. That's stupid. So to me, even oral sex is sex. Is part of sex. I don't know how people can think like that, but I guess that's their own way into tricking them that they're not cheating. But what can I say? That's the way it goes. So anyhow, let's look at what abstinence is according to Wikipedia.
Okay.
Abstinence.
And then I'd like to know if there's any listeners out there that want to chime in, and if they have questions, or if they have any experience with celibacy or abstinence or swinging or polyamory or monogamy and want to jump in on this conversation, feel free and raise your hand on the call line.
Yeah, exactly. So abstinence, according to Wikipedia, is a self-enforced restraint from indulging in bodily activities that are widely experienced as giving pleasure. Most frequently, the term refers to sexual abstinence or abstinence from alcohol or food. Okay, well, that's a good point. The practice can arise from religious prohibitions and practical considerations. Abstinence it may also refer to drugs. For example, one can abstain from smoking. Abstinence has diverse forms. Commonly, it refers to a temporary or partial abstinence from food, as in fasting. In the 12-step program of Overeaters Anonymous, abstinence is a term for referring from compulsive eating, akin in meaning to sobriety or for alcoholics, because the regimen is intended to be a conscious act, freely chosen to enhance life. Abstinence is sometimes distinguished from the psychological mechanism of repression. So the latter is an unconscious state having unhealthy consequence. Freud termed the channeling of sexual energy into more culturally or socially acceptable activities. Okay, so that's a good point. Abstinence is not just necessarily abstinence from sex, but abstinence from different activities, such eating or alcohol or whatever. So again, celibacy is the state of voluntarily being unmarried, sexual abstinent, or both, usually for religious reasons. Okay, so I guess in a way, it's that it is saying that celibacy is repression of sexual activity, according to this definition of abstinence. So, but it doesn't have to be repression. People can be celibate or abstinent or both, and be very comfortable, very healthy. A lot of people who are celibate or abstinent or both do healthy yoga, they run, they exercise, so they channel their energies differently in a different way that will allow them to be more constant and healthier without having any kind of sexual activity at all. And again, we're not just talking about alcohol or food. Right now we're talking about specifically about sexual activity. And so people can be and yeah, if people don't want to be celibate or abstinent and they have to be, then yeah, that can be considered repression because they're doing it against their will and they don't really want to be. So that's a whole different ballgame. But again,
right, that's where it makes when you're being forced to something. So it's the same thing, like with a priest. I mean, he's doing it of his own free will, but there's this structure to, deny. In the dictionary for abstinence, it talks about self-restraint, so that's not a self-denial and forbearance. And I wanted to look up what forbearance meant. It says patient self-control, restraint, and tolerance.
okay.
The action for refraining, or this is a legal term, endurance, fortitude, stoicism.
Okay. So again, to me, abstinence is not necessarily abstaining from sexual activity, but with another, with oneself, or pleasuring. But abstinence to me is refraining from having sexual activity with anyone else except yourself. To me, you can still be abstinent and masturbate, and that's still considered abstinence, in my mind's eye. And celibacy to me is having no sexual activity at all, not even masturbation. And again, a lot of people will resort to hatha yoga, to some kind of yoga, to running, to meditating, breathing exercises that will allow them to be able to channel their energies on a higher level than not. Again, and if you don't know who Amachi the Hugging Saint is, I did the tour with her several years ago, and one of the requirements was to be abstinent, or not just abstinent, but also celibate. And we weren't even in the sense of speaking, allowed to masturbate. So for several months, I lived in her ashram, At the time, I had just gotten back from Hawaii. I gained like 50, 60 pounds. I don't know how much. I lost all that weight. Went on tour with her from Washington to Washington, and the whole time I was celibate for the purpose of being able to do the tour with her. And then eventually, I went to India a couple of months later for about 2 weeks for her 50th birthday party, and then I came back and then started Spiritualness Productions, which is the name of the company that I own. So anyhow, but it was like that. And again, I guess abstinence and celibacy could be different, defined differently for other people. But to me, again, abstinence is abstaining from having sexual energy, sexual activity or pleasure with other people, and only yourself would be the only sexual energy or activity that you would conduct with. That's what I understand. But go ahead.
Can I ask you this?
Go ahead.
Do you feel that time with Ava was, and with being abstinent and celibate, gave you that energy to create your business?
Well, I think it was a lot more than that, and you're right. My energies were higher than usual, I think, and we're talking about 6-7 months worth of celibacy minimum, and I had more energy. I felt clearer in my mind in terms of what was going on with my life. I felt better, healthier, and but I also, I think one of the things was I was also more, I had more testosterone going on. So, and if people crossed my path and they weren't very nice, I didn't hold back and let them know, hey, it's not cool. You can't be doing this. And they didn't like that. They didn't like people being assertive and confident in their manner and their activity. So event, I did the tour, and then after I went to India for 2 weeks for her birthday. Then I came back, and then I started my company. I got the name of my company while on tour with her. During the tour, Spiritualness Productions came to me, and that's how I ended up with the name for that company. So and then after I came back, I got it off the ground, and I got all the equipment for it, and then I started getting things up and going. So it was like that.
So maybe we should just look at, just take this little piece down, because, again, how you're delving into abstinence and celibacy to produce something really beneficial. However, there are some people who are celibate and abstinence not by their will, but because of circumstance, and how it maybe builds up into a perversion, or it is acting out, that's like a festering kind of sore that is building and building and building, and then it has an unhealthy expression. Yours had a healthy expression. If you kind of agree with the two pieces?
Exactly. I hear exactly what you're saying, and you're absolutely correct that, I have been a minister, a priest in other lifetimes, not just a few, but several other lifetimes, and there have been other ministers and priests and whatever, and they've had to be repressed, and I do say the word repressed because they weren't allowed to have sexual activity because they were priests or reverends or whatever, and so they didn't channel those energies very healthy. Maybe they just only meditated, or maybe they just contemplated, and that's it. And that was the extent of them channeling their sexual energies, which probably meant that caused a lot of unhealthy thoughts and unhealthy activities, and yeah, even perversions. Even to in this day and age, they might be that same priest from other lifetimes could be into S&M now, because they were so repressed. Now they get on a power trip. And, to me, that's all the S&M is nothing but a power trip, period. I have power today, you have the power tomorrow. Okay, fine, whatever. Big deal. That doesn't mean that's a good, healthy relationship. And I guess I should have threw that in the mix, because I didn't. But, anyhow, a lot of priests and and ministers or whatever, rabbis or whatever, they get caught up in those types of activities, perversions, because they didn't channel those energies. Even in this day, they still might not be channeling those energies in a good, healthy way. So instead of them having good, healthy social behavior on a sexual level, then what happens is they end up caught up in other stuff that really screws with their mind, really screws with their bodies, really screws them up. Period. So yeah, I hear exactly what you're saying. You're absolutely correct. So anyhow,
I hope that kind of clears things up. And this is, again, these are. I don't think we're talking absolutely. We're talking from our own personal perspectives and things and our understanding and experience. So again, if other people are out there listening and want to chime in and join us, we'd be happy to hear from you. Are there anybody out there listening today or not?
Well, there was somebody earlier, but I think they wanted a psychic reading. What they want. But anyhow, but that's okay. That doesn't matter because it doesn't mean that we can't go over some of the stuff. So anyhow, we just went over celibacy and also abstinence. And so why don't we do that? Take a little break right now and play some okay, so why don't we play some music? And I think we're going to play Om Namah Shivaya by Daniel Paul from his album Elephant Prayers. That's probably, he's done other albums, and that's one of the best ones I really, really like. In fact, that's one of the best East Indian type of music that I really like. That's really awesome. Anyhow, we're going to send out love, blessings, healings, angels of light and love to all the priests and all the ministers out there, and all the reverends. They need all the help they can get. Why not? Also, of course, to the President of the United States and all his entourage. He definitely needs some help. It seems like he's doing a little bit better now, but he's still got a lot of BS to deal with, a lot of murder to deal with. So, and he is. He's going to have to tighten up his belt and his pants and get his head out of his ass. Really get with the program and really just get focused on what a president really is. And you can't go around trying to BS people because, you can BS some other people some of the time, but you can't BS everyone all the time. It doesn't work like that. And he knows better. So, he's a businessman, and all businessmen people know what it's like to be a professional business person. And so that's what he needs to do is be a professional business person. And there's nothing wrong with that, being a president as well. But he really, really needs to also work with the guidelines, with the Constitution, and he also needs to be trainable as a president. He needs to be able to get along with everyone in a good, healthy way. And that's what's going to make all the difference in the world. If he wants to have everything his own way, well, you know what? That could be a possibility, but he's going to be fighting,
democracy.
He's going to be in a fight every day of his term. He's going to be in a fight. How stupid is that? All right? So, dude, you need to get along. You need to get along with people. And there's nothing wrong with what he's trying to accomplish. I think there's a lot of things that I think he's on the right level with, in the right direction with. But there's a lot of things that he needs to really straighten his head out about. So anyhow, we'll send out love, blessings, healings, angels of light and love to, of course, to Lorae, your family, me and my family, and all our vehicles and places of residence that take care of us. To all the animals and plants and the kids and the minerals and the plants. I think plants. I don't know if I said that. On the planet, especially the ones that need concern. Let's send out love, blessings, healings, angels of light, and love to all the lovers and all the dads out there. I know it's a little bit late, but again, I want to send out love, blessings, healings, angels of light, and love to all the dads out there, and of course to all the moms. To everyone, anyone you want to add to that, Lorraine?
You got it good.
Everyone else who needs concern, Again, Om Namah Shivaya by Daniel Paul from his album Elephant Prayers, and we will be back. Hey, wait a minute! You can't do that! I'm still peeling my orange! What the heck? You know, this is Andrew Aloha live out of Flagstaff, Arizona, with Spiritual Women's Productions of Blog Talk Radio and FreeConferencing.com and Ustream, establishing and maintaining right relationships through human values. Aloha and welcome to tonight's Intimacy, Tantra, Relationships, Psychically Fulfilled show. Tonight we're here with Maha Dakini Lorae all the way out of New York, even though she lives in San Francisco. What the heck are you doing in New York, Maha Dakini Lorae?
Working, getting wet, it was raining outside earlier, so enjoying the weather. Hot, humid, yeah, moist.
Yeah? Well, and for those of you that are in the East Coast area, you know, if you want to hook up with Maha Dakini Lorae for a session, you of course you want to get hold of her. That would help. That would help. And then book your session. Of course, you'll want to pay for that in advance. I don't know how much she charges for her sessions, but you know you can talk that over with her. But in the meantime, we just got tonight's show is celibacy, abstinence, monogamy, polyamory, and or swinger. Which do you choose? And so we've been talking about celibacy, which to me, again, in my perception, and somewhat the perception of Wikipedia is the abstinence of sex, abstinence of alcohol, abstinence of food. I mean, there's all kinds of different abstinences. But celibacy, to me, is one step further, and that's the abstinence of pleasuring yourself, of abstinence of masturbating, of having sexual intercourse with yourself, not just with other people. And just for the record, folks, in my perception, blowjobs, oral sex, you know, cunningness, all that is considered sex as well, as far as I'm concerned. So, and there's a lot of, especially women, I believe, maybe men too, but I believe women believe that giving a blowjob is not considered sex. So that's completely just innocent, which is a line of total BS. Okay? So again, blowjobs are considered sex, and not just abstinence as well. So and again, to me, abstinence is the refraining of sexual pleasure, not only with others, but with yourself. And again, we're talking about sex here because that's what we're focused upon. Not just food and alcohol, but right now we're focusing on sexual energy, sexual activity. And so now, if you decide to become celibate or abstinent, it's a really good idea to take up something that's really healthy, that will allow you to channel and replace those energies with somebody healthy. I used to be involved with a woman who said that she gave the best blowjob in town. She was married to a lawyer, and and something happened, and then they got separated or divorced or something, and she was no longer giving those blowjobs. And then further down the road, a few years later, she ended up getting that what's that thing with the throat thing that that especially I think women get a lot, thyroid. She ended up getting a thyroid problem going on, and we believe that it was because she stopped giving blowjobs, and maybe she was good at them, but either way, she stopped doing that activity. She stopped channeling that energy in the way, and she never took the time to either replace that energy with a good, healthy energy or some kind of healthy activity. And she just completely stopped cold turkey. And just like with cigarettes, if you stop smoking, all of a sudden you abstain from smoking all of a sudden out of the blue, and you've been smoking for years, yeah, it's probably a good probability that you're going to develop cancer or especially lung cancer. So again, if you decide to stop doing something, and because especially because it's an unhealthy habit or something of the sort, then you're gonna want to do something to either replace that energy, that activity, or do it. Like years ago, I used to drink regularly. I was in the Air Force, and that was just the thing to do, to drink. And so when I got out of the Air Force, I literally just how would you say, step down my drinking by just drinking less and less every week for over a period of I don't know, 4, 5, 6 weeks, I don't know how long. But anyhow, over a period of several weeks, I lowered my drinking levels to the point that I would go to a party and hold a beer in my hand. I drink some of it, and then it would be more than half full, and after a while, it would be hot. It would be a warm beer because I never drank any more out of it. That was it, and so I had to go replace it with another one. And again, the same thing happened to that beer, or either that, or I just didn't get any more beer. I just held that beer in my hand, or just threw it out, and that was it. So after about a period of about 2 or 3 or 4 years, I just stopped drinking for about 2 or 3 or 4 years, and then I discovered that I was allergic to beer. And then further down the road, I discovered that I still had a reasonable tolerance to lager beer. So now that if I ever drink beer, it's going to be a lager beer, and usually it'll be Sam Adams or Foster's, because they're the only ones that don't make my skin break out, and they don't make me nauseous. That they still do to an extent, but not as much as the other beer. So I haven't drank a beer in months, but again, if I am going to, it's going to be a lager beer because I'm less allergic to that than any of the other beers. But it's like that. So again, if you're going to be abstinent or celibate, it's not a bad idea. It helps to conserve your energy. But if you're going to do that, again, you're either going to want to wean it down to a little bit till you're there, or if you do go cold turkey, then start taking up running or walking or working out or hot yoga, especially hot yoga, because you do deal with breathing. So and moving forward, the last 3 subject matter that we have to talk about are monogamy, polyamory, or swinger. Which do you choose? So again, I went to the Wikipedia, and I took the time to define monogamy, which is a form of relationship in which an individual has only one partner during their lifetime or at any one time. Serial monogamy, as compared to polyamory, as compared to polyamory. The term is also applied to the social behavior of some animals, referring to the state of having only one mate at any one time. So again, would you agree with that, Maha Dakini Lorae? Is that monogamy is being involved with only one mate at a time? Is it safe to say that?
I think that's what pretty much people understand it to be, and that's how I would define it. Polyamory is going through.
Well, we haven't gotten to polyamory yet. let's stick with monogamy, and then we'll get to polyamory.
Okay.
So now I want to let you folks know this right now. You know, back years ago, hundreds of years ago, when Jesus was here, his purpose was here. His purpose here was to basically teach people or exemplify to people that that all the things that he did, we could do and more. Now, he demonstrated that people would go through initiations in order to get to the point that he's at now. And I don't know that he was celibate or abstinent during that time frame. I'm assuming that he was probably at least celibate, a minimum. You know, and maybe I'm wrong. And until after the crucifixion of the cross, or whatever people want to call it. And in fact, I just ran across an article yesterday, I believe, where they said they found an old Bible saying that in that Bible that Jesus wasn't even crucified. So I don't know what the truth is out of that, but no, that's just an aside that I came across. That's all. But anyhow, when he was here, also Jesus was here to initiate, to inaugurate the age of Pisces. Years and years ago, back in the day, 21 here, over 2,000 years ago, we were coming into the age of Pisces, and that was another one of his main objectives, was to initiate the age of Pisces that we've been in for years and years, and now we're almost in the age of Aquarius. In about 9 years, 10 years or so, we're going to actually 8 years or so. 6, 7 years, 7 or 8 years from now, we're going to be completely in the age of Aquarius. Now, if you know anything about the age of Pisces, Pisces has to do with number 6, devotion, the color blue, and also monogamy. So people were naturally were monogamous. Most of the people throughout that whole century, that whole age, I should say, were and are monogamous. They still are. There's a lot of people that are still caught up in the age of Pisces. They're old school, and they're monogamous. And there's nothing wrong with that. Again, that's part of the program. To learn how to deal with relationships one at a time. Before you start to run, you really need to learn how to crawl, and then you need to learn how to walk, and then you need to learn how to skip. And then you need to learn how to jog and then run. So it's like that. So for most people can only handle one relationship at a time, and that's all they should do, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, going into the age of Aquarius, my theory is that we're going to be living in space pretty soon. People are going to, years ago I said, and this is back when I was in college, I said, we're going to be, first of all, people, the NASA and all these companies, they can't afford for us to go to space. They can't afford the space program, period. It's too much money. And so I said, what's going to happen is they're going to start sending people to space on vacation. And that's how they're going to be able to afford it. You're going to go up there for 1 or 2 weeks at a time, or a month at a time. I don't know how long. And you're going to be there, and then you're going to come back, and you're going to pay a price for that. You're going to pay a fee for that to go vacation in space. You're going to be well taken care of. You're going to be, just learning all kinds of stuff about space. It's going to be really cool. I think it's going to be really cool. It's going to be awesome. And so, but eventually people are going to start living whole lifetimes up there. They're going to be born in space, and that's when all the incubations are going to take place. People are going to be born there through incubation chambers, and where they're not. A woman's not going to have time to go through all the pregnancy process, and her body too. She's going to be part of the crew, and so she's not going to have time to take maternity leave, and the men aren't going to have time to take maternity leave either. So they'll go through the incubation process, and that's how they're going to be born in space. That's what I believe. And so, anyhow, then eventually we're going to start going to Mars. And in fact, last week, the week before, we talked about that. Me and Dr. Sala out of Hawaii. he's saying that the Navy has probably the most advanced space program in the world, where they're already sending ships. And again, we're talking about these flying saucer types of looking things, or triangular types of looking things, and like that. They're sending them to Mars already. They have been for years. And people are going to be traveling to space, to other planets, other galaxies eventually, and they're going to be gone for years. Honey, I'm going to be going to Mars. I'll see you in 15 years. Okay, bye. Right. So, and I'm going to masturbate for all that time until I get to see my wife again. Forget it. Hell no. So, what I believe is going to happen is people are going to turn to polyamory as a way of life, a normal way of life. Again, and that's in complete sync, complete harmony with the age of Aquarius, which the age of Aquarius has to do with groups, the number 7, the color purple, group effort, magic and ceremonial order. Everything is going to be done in groups. Tantra is going to be done as a group. Tantra, instead of partners just getting together and doing Tantra with each other, partners are going to be getting together and doing Tantra with each other as a group. And so I believe that's going to be completely in sync with the age of Aquarius, and that's going to be practical. Again, because you'll have a lover on Earth, you'll have a lover on Mars, you'll have a lover on the space station, and wherever else. And even though you're still potentially monogamous on the space station with each other, you'll still have all these other lovers at these other ports or stations, and then when you get to those stations, then you'll be involved with them. That's what I believe is going to happen. And is it right or wrong? Well, unless you're God Goddess, then you can tell me it's right or wrong. But unless you're God Goddess, I don't think you can. You have the capabilities to do so, because you can't think that far. You can't think from one universe to the next, from one solar system to the next, from one galaxy to the next. You don't know what's going on in all those other galaxies, and neither do I. But unless you do, then you don't have authority. No one has the authority to tell me or tell other people they only have to be involved with one other person, or that they should be involved with other persons. Period. The other way as well. So I believe this life here on this earth called human life is all experimental. No matter how you put it, every bit of it, this is all experimental, and it's always constantly evolving. It's always a constant. There's always constant change going on, no matter what. And unless that something stays the same forever and ever, amen. It's an experiment. Everything is an experiment. Period. And that's what I see it. So go ahead, Maha Dakini Lorae, what do you got?
Well, I just wanted to jump around because I was searching the web earlier today, and I found some swinging etiquette. So I guess I just want to throw that out there and just jump from thing to thing, if that's okay. And if there's 12 things you need to know about going to a swinging party.
We haven't got to swinging. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead and go into swinging.
I just want to throw this out, since and I just thought it really interesting, and just some nice 2 points for people to maybe understand what this is about. So swinging is between, it's a couple, usually husband and wife, and you go to a party, and there's other people of like interest. They like to swap, or there's different degrees of swinging. So there's people who just like to watch. They go to the party, and they're warriors, and they like to watch other couples, have sex. And there's other people who like to engage. So maybe Bill and Mary want to swap him with Bill and Sue. So, there's some couples that will have to watch his partner with another man, or 2 men that like to watch the 2 women partners, be together. So there's varying degrees of what swinging means.
So with that in mind, why don't you define what swinging is, or do you want me to?
Oh, well, okay, go in really quick, and then I'll talk about these 12 little things of etiquette I look at a swinging party.
Okay. So the last part of the session, of the segment, had to do with swinging. So there's all of these various types of sexual lifestyles that you can live or not live. But swinging is also known as wife swapping or partner swapping. It is a non-monogamous behavior in which both singles and partners in a committed relationship engage in sexual activities with others as a recreational or social activity. It's again, we talked about this earlier, and swinging to me is more of a sport rather than just a relationship. Having a relationship with several other partners, it's the sport of swapping partners with other people. So that I didn't, Wikipedia doesn't say that, but I think it should, because that's exactly what it is. It's a sport.
No, it's not. I just said there's some swingers who don't swap. They like to go and they watch like the voyeurs and they like to see other people.
Okay, that's called voyeurism, but that's besides the point. But
they're swingers. They're at a swingers party.
I hear you.
They're subset of swingers.
If they're not
people who won't swap, and then there's people who will, open up their relationship, and one person may not engage, and the other person does engage.
Okay, so if one partner is engaging in the activity, then that is swinging. But if both partners are just watching, then that's just called voyeurism, period. So anyhow, to finish up
the swinging party.
What's that?
Part of swinging.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, even if if they are at a swinging party or some kind of porno thing or whatever. It's still considered voyeurism if they're only just watching and that's it. If that's all they're doing, it's just called voyeurism, and that's just that simple. But okay, so anyhow, let me finish the definition of this. The phenomenon of swinging, or at least its wider discussion in practice, is regarded by some as arising from the freer attitudes to sexual activity after the sexual revolution of the 1960s. The invention and availability of the contraceptive pill and the emergence of treatments for many of the sexually transmitted diseases that were known at that time. The swinger community sometimes refers to itself as the lifestyle or as the alternative lifestyle. Okay, so go ahead. I don't know where you're at, but go ahead.
So swingers are usually more comfortable with sex. They also just like to discuss what happens in the bedroom with friends, and they tend to have more than the average number of partners or people in their lifetime that they have, that they're with. So it says at a swingers party, people just don't throw their keys into a bowl. If there was some kind of movie where it was a long time ago, Bob married Ted and Alice or something like that, and take the keys, whoever, would put the keys in whoever's car that was, that's where the wife would go home with that night or something. That's not really how swinger parties are. But then they have little warm-up things to get people started. Usually, people go and there's a social time first before there may be then where everybody would start getting interactive or do whatever they want to do. The next thing on this list of the 12 things we talk about safety comes first. No protection, no play, no exception. So these people are very health conscious.
Okay, that's good.
What is the other kind of misnomers is that, because everyone is quote unquote normal. People often presume that swingers are ridiculously either good looking or they're ridiculously suburban. Either like Chet or I don't know what Abigail's party is. I'm kind of like I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe minus the clothes. So in fact, it's just that in fact they're rarely either. They're just curious, open-minded singles well, couples for the most part, and they allow singles, it's primarily women singles as opposed to single men who want to explore their naughty side. So the fourth rule is that there is definitely a code of conduct. So courtesy, respect, and understanding of when someone is not interested in your advances are all essential at a swinging party. And if you cross boundaries, it will definitely get you kicked out of that party.
Yeah, exactly right.
And also couples come as a couple and they leave as a couple. So single men are rarely invited on their own. Single women are called unicorns. They're rare, precious.
No kidding. Now I understand. Because that's funny because there's a woman, now, this is my perception, and everyone that I've run across so far, it's been true, I'm pretty sure. But probably some of the most sexually oriented, I don't know if you want to call them freaks, but highly sexual women, people out there are nurses. And there was a specific nurse that was in my network, and she was saying that she liked to be, she liked unicorns. So, and she was pretty adamant about that. And now that you say that, I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think I know exactly what she was what she was saying. So go ahead.
Okay. So the next thing they said is that, you know, and I've gone to a couple of different events, and it says invest in some decent underwear, or people get pretty, you know, they bring out their sexy stuff, their sexy clothes, and their whatever that means for you, or whatever your style is. It says knickers don't tend to stay on for very long at a swinging party, but when they do, party of fun is looking sexual in your new age provocateur underwear set, so make sure that you make an effort. Then next, number 7 is that it's a bit of a social. So if you're someone that, you know, at a swinging party, as soon as you walk in the door, everybody gets naked and they start to have an orgy. And that's not correct. Again, I talked about earlier that there's, first, it's a party atmosphere. You're encouraged to relax, have conversations, meet people, and, you know, before the party starts, you know, maybe you can do a designated time when that's going to happen.
Okay.
And then they even allow some playtime until that certain time when, you know, when it's more open. And the next thing is that everyone's kind of at it. The beauty of a swinging party is that there's no judgment. People are just there, literally and metaphorically. So don't be surprised if you're standing to the bar in 1 minute, and the properties are truly next, and it's all part of the fun. So some of you will be naked and, you know, walking around, and you put that part of your clothes on. Everybody, it's within your comfort. So just because the person's naked doesn't mean you have to get naked.
Got it.
Going to just watch is allowed, but not all the time. So there are different types of attendees, and I mentioned that earlier, from those who will do anything with anyone to those who prefer to watch. Watching is considered fair play for the needy, but usually seasoned swingers often get involved or they go home. And for those who prefer to watch but not play every time. So it kind of allows some leeway for people who are really curious and things, but if you just go there to, as I said, not participate week after week after week, you may not be allowed to come back. And they also talk about, you know, if you want to drink, you know, you've got BYOB, bring your own bar. If the smallest party held at a home, yes, bring your own bottle. And also bring something decent to drink, or if you don't drink, you'll bring what you would like to drink, since they may not have, you know, your filtered water or whatever. And also remember that swinging parties can be very sexy. So a room full of champagne and nakedness after a hard week in the office, it could be worse than that. And then the last rule is that, actually when you think about it, it's far less intimidating. So it's about having fun, playing, opening yourself up and trying, if this is your first time, try it, you might like it.
Exactly. So now, with that in mind, one of the things that sparked our conversation for tonight was it last week or the week before? I guess 2 weeks ago, or whatever. I went to a polyamorous gathering or meeting in Phoenix, and I'm interested in learning how that works and how that operates. And number one, the people there seem to be really against Tantra, and I thought, these guys are either not with it, or they're really completely out of their mind, or both, I guess. But anyhow, they seem to think that polyamory was completely different than tantra. And I thought, and I said, well, it's harmonious with it's a complementary to tantra. What are you talking about? And even with swingers, like you just said, you said it earlier. With swingers, they have guidelines and boundaries too. So do polyamorous people, and so do tantric people. There's boundaries and guidelines are part of the program. That's how it works. So you can't get around it. And they thought about it, and they still didn't agree with me, but they they seem to think polyamory was much better than tantra or swinging or whatever. To me, they were so full of it, it was just unreal. But some of these people. So now, one of the things they did say that I thought, well, maybe it's true, and I had to think about it, and I think maybe you, in a way, have said it because you never mentioned it. You never actually mentioned it, but swingers, maybe they are comfortable with their bodies physically, but emotionally wise, being comfortable with other lovers on a deep emotional level, is probably not true. They can go out and have all the sex they want, with other people, but to get involved with another couple or partner or lover in a good, healthy, emotional way is probably not even close to the top of the list of things to do.
Well, hang on one second. I was at a ASEC convention, which is the American Association of Sex Educators, Counselors, and Therapists, and it was a style which is the sexual attitude reassessment. Yeah. And if you go through 2 days of watching these videos and then discussing them and talking about how you feel around these sexual topics and sexual things that you're looking at. And so it starts very bland, and then it kind of gets up and a little bit more graphic and so one of the topics was swinging. And there was a therapist there, and he was in my group, and there was another woman that was a therapist that was from his hometown. And later on, this guy therapist was telling me that he's a swinger, but he didn't want to say anything and out himself because of this other woman in the town, and he was afraid of something leaking out. And his thing was that there were parties that he went to, but they were with friends. So this was a small group that got together, and they all knew each other, and they would swap. And I wouldn't call that polyamory, but it was casual sex among friends. Whereas, in the videos that we were watching, it was also mentioned that you can be swinging with, and a lot of the times at the parties, it's strangers, or because the parties so often, and you're from a small community, you know these people, or you get to know them. So I think there's a fine line around having sex with someone and, them, they're being friends, but there's this other deeper commitment and connection where, in a polyamorous relationship, these people are in your life.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think with polyamory, you're involved with monogamous relationships on a multiple levels. And with swinging, again, I think the key operative phrase is sport fucking. Sports sex. But I think that's the key operative word, is that with swinging, people get together, and not necessarily couples, but people get together and have sex with one another, just as a recreational form of activity. They've been working their butts off all day, and they just want to let their hair hang down, and there's only, and there's a few people they can trust or whatever, or, they're involved in the same kind of activity. It's like football players. They hang out with each other, and if there's other football players around, they'll hang out with each other. It's like that. So it's a social group thing, and if they know other people that are swinging, then yeah, they're going to trust them anyhow, even though they're strangers and they haven't met them before, but they have been swinging for quite a while. So they'll get together and do a recreational sex. I think that's the operative word. Whereas polyamory, even though they don't like to mention it, their activities more has to do with intimacy and their involvement. With swinging, intimacy may or may not be involved, but with polyamory, the intimacy is a definite status quo, and I think that's what the difference is. It has to do with emotional regard in sexual activity. That's my perception.
Mm-hmm. And I found this article on the science of us, which is maybe monogamy isn't the only way to love. And it's just, there's a book coming out called What is Love and What It Could Be by philosopher Terry Jenkins, who is polyamorous, and talks about how romantic love is what she experiences firsthand with, two different people. One is her husband and one is her boyfriend. Because when we try to think about relationships and things, it's like, or when they're talking about also polyamory, it's all about sex. As you kind of go into it, intuiting before, is that there's this deeper connection with someone that, and we also have this, like, we have this misconception of romantic love requires monogamy.
Got it.
But in her case, it's not true. She can love more than one person. So again, polyamory is like the definition of family love.
Exactly. And I hear you, and I agree with you that I believe that people can be romantically involved with more than one person at a time. People are just that way now. With all the information and all the stuff that's going on in this day and age, I'm pretty sure that people can multitask, and they're really good at it. And multi-relationship involvement is secondhand to a lot of people. I'm sure of it. Now I'm going to read here again from the Wikipedia. It says reasons for swinging. People may choose a swinging lifestyle for a variety of reasons. Many cite the increased quality, quantity, and frequency of sex. Some people may engage in swinging to add variety into their otherwise conventional sex lives or due to their curiosity. Some couples see swinging as a healthy outlet and means to strengthen the relationship. Others regard such activities as merely a social and recreational interaction with others. So see, there you go. Wikipedia says that as well. So now modern swinging can take place in a number of contexts, ranging from spontaneous sexual activity involving partner swapping at an informal gathering of friends to planned regular social meetings to hooking up with like-minded people at a sex club, also known as a swinger club, not to be confused with a strip club. Of course, different clubs offer a variety of varied facilities and atmospheres, and often hold themed nights. Swinging is also known to take place in semi-public venues such as hotels, resorts, or cruise ships, or often in private homes. Furthermore, many websites that cater to swinging couples now exist. Some boast hundreds of thousands of members, contrary to the stereotype view that multiple partners brings a serious threat of STIs. The incidence of STIs among swingers is lower than the general population. Condom use is routine. Swingers are relatively knowledgeable about STIs and their symptoms, and will probably and will promptly seek medical treatment for an STI almost without shame. In some locations, the county clinic treating STIs is seen as a good place for clients to hook up with potential sex partners. So now, according to 2010 estimates by Kinsey Institute, swinging is relatively uncommon in the United States. Can you believe that? now, and it's funny because at this polyamory meeting, these people seem to think that polyamory is huge. It's like completely like in the same category size as monogamy. And I thought, these guys are full of crap. Because it says it right here, clearly, swinging is relatively uncommon in the United States. And if swinging is relatively uncommon, and I believe that polyamory has not been around as long as swinging has to begin with. And polyamory, I don't think, regardless, is as big as swinging is. So if swinging is uncommon in the United States, then I know for sure that polyamorous is as well. Research on swinging has been conducted in the United States since the 1960s. One 2000 study based on an internet questionnaire addressed to visitors of swinger-related sites found swingers are happier in their relationships than the norm. 60% of the swinging improved. 60% said that swinging improved the relationship. 1.7% said swinging made the relationship less happy. Approximately 50% of those rated their relationship very happy before becoming swingers, maintained their relationship had become happier. 90% of those with less happy relationships said swinging improved them. Almost 70% of swingers claim no problem with jealousy. Approximately 25% admitted I have difficulty controlling jealousy when swinging. That's somewhat true. While 6% said that this was, yes, very much true. They were very jealous, I believe. Swingers rate themselves happier, very happy, anyhow, blah, blah, blah. More exciting than non-swingers by significantly large margins. There is no significant difference between responses of men and women, although more males than females completed the survey. This study, which only polled self-identified swingers, is limited of limited use to a broader application to the rest of society, owing to self-selected sampling. So anyhow, so there's a lot more to.
I just looked at some facts, and this is according to the Electronic Journal of Human Sexuality. It says that they can estimate that there's approximately 13 million people in the United States engaged in swinging in the swinging lifestyle. So, when this is a while, in probably the 2005 or 2006, I went to Las Vegas. I was invited to the Swingers Convention, and I gave a talk to a men's group there. Okay. And it's known as the Lifestyle Convention. So they don't talk about swinging. That word isn't used. If you're part of the lifestyle, people know that you're a swinger. So it's kind of like a code word. And I would kind of agree that there's, a 13 million sounds, there's a lot of swingers out there. People just aren't talking about it, though. I mean, these people are very discreet. It was funny at that, it was a big, I think it was at the Stardust Hotel in Las Vegas, so again, that Stardust isn't around anymore, they blew it up.
Oh, wow.
But it was interesting to watch, like there were women there who had smoking chiller bodies, and they would, they're in their bikinis, and they're toned, and, one woman I just remember, like, kind of flaunting her body was like a bodybuilder type almost. Yeah. And she would love to have men watch her, look at her. That was her thing. And then that evening, some guy I met, there were parties in these little cabanas, and then there was one of the parties in one of the rooms, and it was really interesting when I went up there with this guy, and there's people in, you know, the hot tubs, and there was one, I was watching one woman give her husband, I'm imagining it was her husband, a blowjob, and he's looking around at, like, who's watching us? She's like, you know, bobbing her head up and down like it's about to break, trying to get him off. And I thought, like, how? Ew. And I ended up talking to this guy who was into wearing corsets. He was into bondage. And his particular kink was, you know, wearing corsets, but he was a dom, and he had a submissive that wasn't at the party, and I don't know how he got, he made things for people. I think that's why he was there. He made, like, sexy outfits and corsets and that kind of thing. And that's how we got invited. And so we kind of ended up hanging out and talking and things, and I said, you know, this isn't my, it's lacking an emotion. It's lacking something for me. Some of these people were very superficial and artificial, and it just didn't appeal to me. If I'm going to, like even some of these Tantra events where people are exploring their sexuality, it was kind of like, I'm bored. I'm looking for something deeper. So maybe I evolved out of, you know, that curiosity. I've been there, done that, and I'm looking. I needed something else. So I took my own kind of.
So they have empty lives. So now, real quick.
No, I'm not saying empty lives. It's my. I have a different perspective.
Okay, go ahead.
They're doing it perfectly fine for them.
Okay.
So I don't want to judge, but
okay.
I'm just kind of voicing what I experienced and what I felt, and that I felt an emptiness that, and maybe I'm misinterpreting, and maybe they're having fun, but it just wasn't for me.
I hear you. So what I want to do is I want to open up.
That's something that can happen about, you know, with these things, is that we make judgments, whether it's when polyamory, monogamous, celibate, abstinence, and we, you know, we make judgments, but you have to kind of like not judge people and just know, make a decision. What do you want to do? Do you want to tip your toe and you want to try it out? Because you'll know.
Exactly.
And I've done a lot of sexual things in my life. I have a broad sexual thing, and at the age where I'm at, it's like I'm looking for something special. I'm looking for something new that can really excite me. However, whatever that is.
So real quick, Maha Dakini Lorae, we have area code 475 on the air. Aloha, you're on the air.
Aloha, how are you guys doing?
Very good. Now, you have, what's your name, where are you located at, and how did you hear about us?
90 seconds.
Savoya, I'm in Connecticut, and I came on the blog, and I seen this topic, and...
Well, okay, so we only have a few seconds left. What's your question, real quick?
I don't have a question, but you blew my mind with the conversation.
Well, thank you. I hope that when you want to delve into it on your own, maybe you can contact Andrew, and maybe if you have a particular question, then we can have a show just about that, and you know, tell us when when you want to listen next time, and then we'll bring you on and you can ask the questions.
Again, what was your name?
Soraya?
Soraya.
Soraya, okay.
Soraya, okay.
Okay, Soraya. Well, thank you for stopping by. Thank all of you for stopping by. Have a God-Goddess weekend. Be the love that you are, always have been, and always will be. Aloha.
Aloha, thank you.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Stop.